Welcome to Picture News Global. This is an additional news story on top of the main story to help children build an understanding of the ever-changing world around them. To find out more about Picture News Global, you can head over to the website picturenews.co.uk to find all of the resources and the pack. This week's story delves into geography and geoengineering, which is an extremely exciting topic. Let's have a look at what's happening in the news this week. Let's have a look at the picture. What can you see? Where do you think this is? How does the picture make you feel? And why? What questions do you have? Take a moment to pause and discuss this as a class. The key question we're going to be looking at today is how can we look after our planet? Let's have a look at this week's story. Scientists have shared their thoughts on a technique called geoengineering to fight climate change in the Arctic and the Antarctic. Some ideas include trying to make sea ice thicker or putting more reflective particles in the air to cool the Earth. More than 40 experts say that these methods could be dangerous, very costly and unlikely to work. Instead, they are urging countries to focus on reducing emissions and reaching net zero to protect the planet. How does this story make you feel? Does it make you feel worried about the sea ice and what's happening? Or does it make you feel excited that people are starting to think more innovatively about different ways to protect the planet? Take a moment to pause as a class and discuss this. This week's story looks at events related to Antarctica. Experts are trying to find ways to protect the Arctic and Antarctica. This week's big question is how can we look after our planet? There's lots of different things that you could do as a class. Firstly, you can discuss geoengineering further. Geoengineering means changing nature in unusual ways to try to slow down climate change. Examples include making sea ice thicker with seawater pumps or putting shiny particles into the air to reflect sunlight. What does net zero mean? Net zero means the amount of greenhouse gases we put into the air is the same as what we take out. Countries are trying to reach this by using more clean energy, like wind and solar, and planting more trees. How to talk about some of these questions? You can pause the video to discuss these further. Why do you think scientists are worried about geoengineering in the Arctic and Antarctic? The Arctic and Antarctic are far away. Why should we still care about them? What could happen if we tried to change nature in big ways? What do you think is the best way to look after our planet? Why do scientists say reaching net zero is so important? Can humans always fix nature? Or do we need to care for it differently? Look at a map at where the Arctic and Antarctica is, and have a little bit of a research. What animals live there? What role do they play to Earth? And why? Do people live there? How cold can it get? How do people get there? Write down your findings and share what you discovered with your class. Looking after the Earth means making choices that keep it safe for the future. Learning about how the poles and clean energy helps us understand how to protect nature and create a healthy planet for everyone. Thank you for taking the time to check out this week's Picture News Global. I hope that you found it exciting and engaging and look forward to seeing you in the next one in a couple of weeks. Make sure you subscribe to Picture News for more stories. See you in the next one.